Hey guys, just a reminder, Wednesday is the final day to get 30% off your entire G Fuel order by using code IMMORTAL at checkout. You guys have been absolutely killing it with the support on the code recently, and if you want to pick up anything at the last minute, a new tub, shaker cup, whatever it may be, this current boost will be active until the end of the 25th. Ever since Modern Warfare launched, we've seen a handful of secrets and random Easter eggs pop up all across the game, from Spec Ops to multiplayer to the campaign. And yes, while we have already taken a look at a few secrets and Easter eggs the game has, recently quite a few more have appeared in-game. So today we're breaking down 8 more secrets and Easter eggs that you might have missed. But before we jump into that, if you are new here, hey hi, how you doing? And also, happy holidays. I am always covering the latest news and intel for Call of Duty, so feel free to subscribe if you want to stay up to date with all of that. And of course, if you enjoy the video at any point, let me know by dropping a like rating on it, as it would be much appreciated. And now let's get into 8 secrets and Easter eggs you might have missed here in Modern Warfare. So for starters today, let's jump into a little gameplay secret that I don't think many people know about whatsoever, because even the few times I've been in calls with some other creators and I bring this up, they're all kind of blown away that this is actually a thing. Now this secret is ground war specific, but it also might come into play during the Battle Royale if and when that ends up actually releasing. Basically, when you jump off of tall things or jump out of a helicopter, you can pull your parachute in ground war, right? But if you're parachuting and you run, or I guess fly, into the side of a building, you will end up losing your chute and falling to your death. And obviously, no one wants that. But if you are in the right place at the right height, you can actually save yourself from dying to fall damage, as you can activate some kind of second parachute in a sense. Basically, how this works is, if you hit an object and you're still pretty high up in the air, right as you begin to fall, you can actually spam your parachute button, and if you're lucky, you can pull out another parachute and glide to safety. Here's the thing though, this secret is pretty finicky and it's not going to work every single time, as the height threshold seems to be pretty high. So it's really only going to come into play if you, say, hit the top of a building because you misjudged your landing and were a few feet too short. If you were simply jumping off a railing that's just high enough to even pull your chute in the first place, obviously it's probably not going to work then, but in the few instances in which you might need it, this secret can literally save your life if you're lucky. Now, the next secret we have here is another really cool one if you ask me, and well, oddly enough, this one also ties in a ton with the rumored Battle Royale mode as well. So if you didn't know, in Ground War once again, the maps and the levels in general include a lot more on them than just what you're playing on. I mean, typically in Call of Duty, the out-of-bounds areas on the maps are filled with some kind of background, whether it's something like snowy mountains, some kind of town, or something else entirely. But with the Ground War maps this year, you can actually see a lot of the other Ground War maps in the background. But there is even more to it than that, and the new DLC map Vacant allows us to really get an insight as to what could be coming with the Battle Royale mode in 2020. By going into the spectator mode on Vacant, you can actually fly up and out of the map and sort of explore the out-of-bounds areas. Now, of course, Vacant takes place inside of the Ground War map Port, so upon leaving the boundaries, you can immediately see Port in its entirety. In the background, as you fly around, there is also a handful of other things you can see too, including the castle that the Gulag is housed in, the Ground War map of Tovorsk District, and also the Ground War map of Krovnik Farmland. Now, these are all out there in the out-of-bounds areas of Vacant, as mentioned, so they aren't fully rendered in and just popping with details and whatnot, but the point is, they're there. And the thing is, while yes, Call of Duty has always had some interesting backdrops to their maps, it has never been this detailed to the point where we can see 4 different maps, technically even 5 if you're counting Vacant as its own thing, all within the render of that initial area. This to me, and a lot of other people I should add, just signifies again that a Battle Royale map is in the works, and this is it. What we're looking at here is a part of the greater Battle Royale map in general, and this lines up with the leaked map overview that we saw a few weeks back too. So the fact that there's a whole chunk of the BR map outside of Vacant is another pretty cool secret that you might have missed. Moving on, now let's take a look at another brand new Easter egg that was just added into the game pretty recently, as this one takes place on Winter Docks. If you didn't know, there's actually a really cool Easter egg involving Captain Price as Santa Claus and Riley the dog as Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. Basically, what you need to do here is jump into a private match on Winter Docks. It can be any mode from my understanding, and from there you'll need to wait until the clock is just about to strike 12. As the minute hand does cross over to strike 12, that's when you'll want to shoot the weather vane right above the clock itself, and if you time it correctly, you'll see that a spark will come flying out, and it'll follow the power lines across the map. And then, out of the blue, comes a flying sleigh led by none other than Riley, with who appears to be Captain Price riding in the sleigh. So that's a pretty cool little secret Easter egg there, but that's not it for the docks Easter eggs, as we'll see here in just a moment. So changing pace really quickly, jumping over to the gunsmith / the store, one of the blueprints you've been able to buy in the shop recently is that of the retro grade for the FAL. And while this blueprint isn't anything too crazy, what's on it is actually pretty interesting. You can see that the camo here is a white and black contrasting image that actually shows off a soldier on part of the magazine and whatnot. And this soldier is very similar to the one that's actually on the cover of MW2. Obviously, it's not the easiest thing to spot, especially since we don't have any kind of weapon inspect to use while in-game, but through the gunsmith inspection, you can see that this is essentially an MW2 camo for the FAL, which is a neat little secret that not too many people have actually picked up on. But now, jumping back over to Winter Docks, like I said, there is a second Easter egg here that allows you to actually change the appearance of all the players in-game, as completing this Easter egg will put a top hat and a carrot nose on all the players in the match. Now, in order to complete this Easter egg, you will need to have at least 2 players in the game, and upon the match starting, you'll need to each shoot and destroy 2 snowmen within 2 seconds of the match starting. From each spawn, each player can see their 2 snowmen, so when the game starts, immediately go to shoot them, then destroy them, and if you completed the Easter egg in time, you should see a carrot nose and a top hat on one another, which looks absolutely ridiculous and awesome at the same time. Next up, we have something that is actually a secret to the entire community essentially, because it's a thing that's been happening pretty frequently now that is going completely unmentioned by Infinity Ward. And that is secret changes like buffs and nerfs to various weapons or attachments. For instance, in the most recent update, the skeleton stock was secretly changed, as it originally had the pros of increased aim walking movement speed, increased aim down sight speed, and also increased overall movement speed, but now it simply has the pros of aim walking movement speed and aim down sight speed. Now that is just one example, but IW has actually been making a ton of secret changes that they aren't mentioning that definitely classify as secrets you might have missed, so I figured it was worth mentioning here. Then, secret number 7 for today is going to be about how you can actually change the look of other players in-game with a pretty simple trick. We all know that you can spray paint in-game by using the D-pad, and what you might not have known is that you can actually spray paint other players and make them appear bright red or bright yellow or a mix of colors, whatever you select to paint with, which ultimately is one hilarious way to troll your friends or one super annoying way to troll random teammates. Now, to do this, all you'll need to do is stand next to another player and simply select a spray paint, and if you are in the right spot, the paint will then appear on that character, and they're going to stand out like a sore thumb. So yeah, have fun with that one. And then to close out today's secrets, we have one that is a little more far-fetched, thus why I did save it for last, but once again, here we are jumping over to docks for this one, and you can see this on either Winter Docks or on the regular version of the map, that doesn't really matter. But basically, right outside of the map, you have a huge shipping yard and port, right? And oddly enough, this area looks nearly identical to that of cargo from the Blackout map last year. As you can see, we have a series of cranes loading some containers onto a huge ship that's docked at the port, and while it's not a one-for-one copy of cargo, the layout is pretty similar. And I just felt like this was a pretty neat coincidence that I accidentally stumbled across while recording footage for the earlier Winter Docks Easter eggs, so I definitely wanted to point this one out. Obviously though, cargo is a Treyarch map, it would not end up in an Infinity Ward game, so I really don't think this is anything more than just a coincidence, but it's a pretty cool thing nonetheless. Anyways, with all of that being said, those are 8 more secrets and Easter eggs you might have missed here in Modern Warfare, and that is going to wrap things up for today. If you guys enjoyed the video, let me know by dropping a like rating on it, as it would be much appreciated. And of course, if you are new here and you want to stay up to date with everything going on in the world of Call of Duty, including all the latest news and intel, updates and leaks, and pretty much everything else in between, feel free to subscribe with your notifications turned on, that way you'll always know when I post a new video. As always, if you do want to check out any of my partners, be sure to use code IMMORTAL on all Scuff, G Fuel, Control Freak, and Respawn products. All of those links can be found down in the description below, and once again, thanks so much for tuning in. Until next time, take it easy, have an awesome rest of your day, and I'll catch you guys later. Peace out.